Abe Hirafu was a diplomat and soldier active in 7th century Japan. His lifespan coincided with the period when Japan was beginning to make a full-fledged appearance on the international stage in East Asia. And his activities are of great significance in the history of Japanese diplomacy. Abe Hirafu was from the powerful Abe clan. The Abe clan was one of the clans that held important positions in the imperial court. Hirafu's exact year of birth is unknown, but it is estimated to have been in the first half of the 7th century. His father was Abe no Omi, and there are no detailed records of his mother. There are few specific records about his education and training in his youth. But as the son of an aristocrat at the time, it is believed that he received an education in classical Chinese and Confucianism, as well as training in martial arts. Hirafu first appeared on the historical stage in 654. In that year, he was sent to the Tang dynasty of China as a Japanese envoy for the first time. At that time, Japan Wakoku had friendly relations with Baekje and Goguryeo on the Korean peninsula, but was in a tense relationship with the Tang dynasty. Under such circumstances, Hirafu played an important role as a diplomatic envoy. The details of his diplomatic mission in the Tang dynasty are not clear, but he completed his mission safely and returned to Japan in 656. It is believed that this experience had a great influence on his later activities. It was the foreign expedition in the 660s that made Hirafu famous. In 660, when the allied forces of Tang and Silla destroyed Baekje, Japan sent troops to restore Baekje. Hirafu played an important role in this expedition. The Battle of Baekgong in 663 is particularly famous. In this battle, the allied forces of Japan and Baekje suffered a major defeat at the hands of the allied forces of Tang and Silla. But Hirafu fought bravely and managed to return to Japan. This defeat had a major impact on Japan's foreign policy, and thereafter, Japan refrained from direct military intervention on the continent. After the Battle of Baekgong, Hirafu turned his attention to domestic issues. Particularly noteworthy was his expedition to Ezo present-day Tohoku and Hokkaido. In 668, Hirafu was given the mission of conquering the Emishi, and he led a large army to the Tohoku region. The purpose of this expedition was to conquer areas that were not under the control of the central government, and bring them under the rule of the imperial court. Hirafu's expeditions to the Emishi took place 3 times. The first was in 668, the second in 669, and the third in 670. Through these expeditions, Hirafu succeeded in getting many Emishi to submit to the imperial court. He did not simply use military force, but also negotiated with local chiefs and tried to unify the region through peaceful means. The success of this expedition to the Emishi further increased Hirafu's fame. His activities were the forerunner of the later expedition to the Emishi by Sakano no Muramaro, and were an important step in Japan's advance into the north. There are no detailed records of Hirafu's later years. The exact year of his death is also unknown, but it is estimated to have been between the late 670s and the early 680s. There is no doubt that he was highly regarded by the imperial court for his achievements throughout his life. The Nihon Shoki records his activities in detail, and shows how much the imperial court valued his achievements. Abe no Hirafu's life vividly illustrates the various challenges facing Japan in the 7th century. Externally, there were efforts to establish Japan's position in the complex relationships with the Tang dynasty and the countries of the Korean peninsula. Domestically, there was a movement to centralize power and integrate the border regions. Hirafu tackled these challenges as a diplomat, a soldier, and an administrator. Although not all of his activities were successful, there is no doubt that he left an important mark on the period of national formation in Japan. In particular, his expedition to the Emishi holds great significance in the process of Japan's territorial expansion and unification. His experience as a Japanese envoy to the Tang dynasty is a valuable example of how Japan at that time was trying to engage with the international community. Abe no Hirafu's name is well known in modern Japan as well. In particular, place names and legends related to him remain in the Tohoku region, and he is part of the history and culture of the region. His life is also often covered in Japanese history education, and is an important subject for understanding the relationship between Japan and East Asia in the 7th century. Abe no Hirafu's life symbolizes the turbulent times that Japan experienced in the 7th century. His multifaceted activities as a diplomat, soldier and administrator show the complexity of the challenges Japan faced at the time, and highlight the bold efforts of the leaders to tackle those challenges. His achievements marked an important step in the formation of the Japanese nation and had a major impact on later generations. Looking back on Abe no Hirafu's life is extremely meaningful for us today in understanding the continuity and change in Japanese history.